It's hard to feel like doing anything when you're depressed. I've got 5 specific tips today for how to get motivated to clean when you're depressed. The tips I'm going to share with you come with a disclaimer. When you're depressed, almost everything that would improve your condition, you don't feel inclined to do. You already know this, right? Like, think positive. Okay, that can be annoying depending on who's saying it. There's other videos here on the channel that will help you with the actual way that you do that you can easily access right here on the channel. In fact, if you go to Live on Purpose TV, the homepage here on YouTube, the introductory video tells you how to be more positive. And notice that you don't feel very inclined to do that. That's okay. You can push through and do it anyway. And you'll start to feel a little bit better as a result. A lot of the things that I'm going to share with you today are kind of like that. You're not going to feel a lot like doing it. That's kind of like the weather report. You know, when you get up and the weather is rainy or snowy or windy. Well, that's just the weather report. You still go out and do what's necessary even when the weather is not supportive necessarily. So how you feel, if you think of that more like the weather report, then this depression doesn't have to take you out of the game. How do we get motivated to clean, for example, when we're depressed? We'll just use that as an example, but really it could be anything. How do I get motivated to fill in the blanks when I'm depressed? Let's start with a little mental exercise that you can do. It's actually one that helps to hack into the physiology of your brain, because depression has also got a chemical element, which you probably already knew. We want to attack this both from a psychological standpoint and from a neurophysiological standpoint. So here's the exercise. I want you to take 3 to 5 deep breaths. And we're going to do this in a very specific way. We're going to slow it down. You're going to breathe in through your nose very slowly. And while you're breathing in, I want you to imagine and picture yourself in an environment that is clean and organized, where you are surrounded by the things that you love and use. Picture that as you're breathing in, and then hold briefly. Just a few seconds is all. And then you'll exhale through your mouth, also very slowly. In fact, you want to take about twice as long to exhale as you did to inhale. And while exhaling, imagine the depression, the stress, all of the negativity just flowing out with that breath. This is a little psychological exercise that also hacks into the neurophysiology that's driving your brain chemistry. So give it a try. 3 to 5 of those. Inhale through the nose while envisioning all of the results of what you want to accomplish, being in a clean environment. Hold briefly and then out slowly through the mouth while you envision letting go of or breathing out all of the negativity and the depression and the stress. Just try that and let's see where that puts you. Here's tip number 2. Set a time and effort goal rather than a task goal. So, for example, instead of telling yourself, I'm going to clean off that messy countertop in the kitchen, you know, that horizontal space that collects everything as people come through the door? That might be a little overwhelming. What if instead you set a time and effort goal? I'm going to put in 15 minutes on that countertop. Oh, well, that seems a lot more doable. You don't have to finish it. Put in 15 minutes. Or work hard on it for a certain amount of time. Time and effort goals give you a way to check something off your list before it's actually done. And some of the things that you're asking yourself to do, you might not be able to do in 10 or 15 minutes. But if you set a goal to do it, you're that much closer to it. And that helps you to feel a little more accomplished as well. I did this recently in my own home. And I'm not currently struggling with depression. But there's still a resistance to take on some of those big tasks. I've been telling myself I'm going to clean out my basement. Wow, that's a big job. I set a time and effort goal for 20 minutes. I told myself I'm going to work hard on it for 20 minutes and then I'll do something else. And it was amazing how much I got done in that 20 minutes. So give it a try. Tip number 3 goes back to Grandma's rule. Do you remember Grandma's rule? Grandma's rule is work first, play later. That makes a whole lot of sense from a logical point of view. When we're in a state of depression, we kind of veg into a passivity that doesn't help us to get things done. You know that there's work that needs to be done, but you'd rather relax or play or whatever your depression is inviting you to do. So going back to Grandma's rule, we work first and play later. Tell yourself, yes, I am going to lay down on the couch and take a nap. Or I'm going to play this video game after I do the time and effort goal that we talked about in the previous step. That just puts it up in a chronological order that's a little easier to manage, and I think you're going to have a better experience with that. Now, tip number 4 gets back to positivity and how we train our mind to go a certain direction. Look at the clock. Do you see what time it is? How certain are you that 8 o'clock is coming? Now, I don't know what time it is right now when you're watching this video, but I'm pretty darn sure that 8 o'clock is still coming, even if it's a minute or two after 8. Because there's another one coming on the other end of the day. You see where I'm going with this? 8 o'clock is coming. How sure are you that you will be around for 8 o'clock? Almost as sure, right? I mean, you've made it to every 8 o'clock so far your whole life, and there's 2 every day for those who don't get up early. Notice that you've got a 100% track record of showing up for 8 o'clock. Now, I think there's only 2 possibilities. I used to think there were 3. I've eliminated the third one because I don't think it's possible for things to be exactly the same at 8 o'clock as they are right now. At the very least, you're going to be a little older, aren't you? You might be more tired. You might be more hungry. I don't know. Depends on what you did just before 8. But things are not going to be the same. So by your own evaluation, which you can't turn off, things have to be either better or worse at 8 o'clock. Have to be. Here's the brain hack. Better by 8. BB8 for short. Better by 8. Can you find some way to make things a little better by 8? Yes, you can. It doesn't have to be a total transformation, just a little better. Can you do that? How does that feel? Better by 8. I've got one more tip for you. Something that takes into account the other strategies that we've already talked about. Commit to a half hour. Okay, so that's the time and effort goal. Commit to just a half hour. You're not going to clean your house. You're not even going to clean your closet or the countertop. You're simply going to commit to working on it for a half hour. Now, before you start, go on a brisk walk. Take the first 10 minutes of that half hour to go on a brisk walk. Get your blood flowing. Get out, move around, go outside. This is essential to your brain functioning. And what you'll find is you will accomplish more in the 20 minutes after your walk than you would have accomplished in a half hour without it. And you'll feel a little better. Remember, depression taps the energy. It sucks the energy out of you for the things that will actually help you to do this. Hopefully these tips will give you some place to start. I've mentioned several times in this and other videos principles of positivity. which you might be new to. And if you are, even if you've got some experience, the Positivity Powerup is here to help you out with that. I've put together a 6-module course. When you complete this course, you will feel more positive. You will have more energy. You'll know how to approach relationships and stress and anxiety and fear. This is a powerful course intended to put you in position to succeed. If you're ready for your Positivity Powerup, please visit positivitypowerup.com.